The occult language of power, hidden meanings in words, numbers, and symbols. 1. Words as weapons. Language has never been neutral. Words are contracts, codes, and traps. A pledge is not a promise. A notice is really an office pulling you back into play from the legal freezer. Even weddings echo animal husbandry, with bridles, grooms, and mares built into the vocabulary. So what does that actually mean? It means power hides in plain sight, and the English tongue, cut with Latin roots and corporate overlays, has been engineered for control. Humor helps. Parliament, once pirates parleying, literally translates as talking lies. Footnote. Language operates as an occult tool for conditioning public thought. 2. Numbers as codes. Debt is not abstract, it's arithmetic turned into shackles. $1 million in bills barely reaches the back of a chair. 1 billion touches the world's tallest towers. 1 trillion stretches to space. Governments toss these words casually while every newborn is tagged with tens of thousands in debt. Numbers measure sweat equity, collateralized through birth certificates. So what does that actually mean? The ledger runs deeper than math, it runs through identity. Footnote. Debt arithmetic disguises massive obligations by normalizing incomprehensible scales. 3. Money as message. Banknotes are more sermon than currency. Churchill's blood, toil, tears, and sweat sits under his bow tie. Austin reminds us of compulsory book learning. Other notes whisper about power and shadows of things to come. These aren't decorations. They're coded statements about labor, literacy, and compliance. Money carries energy, because every note represents toil already spent. So what does that actually mean? You're holding both a receipt and a prophecy. Footnote. Currency embeds ideological messages that reinforce obedience to state and market systems. 4. Sovereignty and contract. Law works by consent, even if extracted through ignorance. Contracts, offer, acceptance, consideration, govern every encounter. Refusing joinder means refusing to be dragged into a role you didn't audition for. Yet fear keeps most locked in performance. Humor again, a driver's license may be proof of permission or proof of surrender, depending on how one frames it. So what does that actually mean? If contract is everything, then awareness is the first act of freedom. Footnote. Contract law underlies everyday interactions, binding individuals unless challenged. 5. Hidden meanings in daily life. Cuffs and collars. Slavery language. Parliament. Lies by design. Therapist. Insert the hyphen, it reads the rapist, reshaping minds. Even children hides children, cold and lifeless in corporate grammar. Once these codes are seen, they cannot be unseen. Humor makes it easier to digest, but the implications are deadly serious. So what does that actually mean? The world has been scripted, and most of us never read the fine print. Footnote. Everyday terms carry concealed histories of domination and subjugation. 6. Fear and freedom. Fear keeps people silent. Wars, debts, taxes, each one justified through narratives on glowing screens. Step back, turn off the feed, and the illusion wobbles. Reading by candlelight instead of fluorescent bulbs may be romantic, but it also avoids the flicker that dulls the brain. Knowledge, not compliance, breaks the spell. So what does that actually mean? A fool's paradise is a wise man's hell. But once the wise shake off fear, the game changes. Footnote. Fear functions as the primary enforcement tool of political and economic systems. 7. Action and agency. The lesson is simple: plant seeds. Some grow, some don't. Don't shout, teach, laugh, and step aside when necessary. Knowledge spreads through small acts, sharing books, passing notes, Teaching others to see. Humor heals the weight of revelation. So what does that actually mean? It means change doesn't come from grand speeches, it comes from one awakened person talking to another over a kitchen table. Footnote. Individual agency multiplies through shared knowledge and incremental teaching.